Welcome back, everyone, here at the International Wealth Builders Radio Talk Show here on KCAA, and I'm your host, Marie Antonette Waite. In our previous segment, we were talking to William Maitre, who is a graphic designer and AI innovation expert, and I wanted to ask him again, William. I wanted to ask you. You mentioned that you were working with the veteran group, right? Are you a
Yes.
veteran?
Yeah. And so
You
I did
are.
about,
Okay.
I did 4 years in the United States Marine Corps.
Okay.
And then I would probably say about 2 years active duty Army, and then 6 years in the Army Reserves, where I was an Army officer before I left.
Okay, well, I wasn't aware of that. Well, I thank you for your service, William. I mean, we honor the veterans and all the militaries that's serving the country because it is very important to us that you've been helping us to keep the freedom in this country, and thank you so much for that.
That was not a problem. Happy
Yeah.
to do it.
So let me ask you because of that. Now, what do you think? Uh, with all of those years of experience with being in the military or being an active duty, what what helped you do what you do now?
I think, it's a myriad of things, but if I were to boil it down to, let's say, top five things, I think the first thing that helps me out a lot is the adaptability, because the Marine Corps is actually the smallest branch of service of all the branches. And so the budget is actually low. So a lot of times when the mission comes up, you have to work with what you have. So you have to adapt, you have to problem solve, and you just have to use your resources to get what needs to get done to accomplish the mission. That would be the first thing. The second thing
Okay.
is, um, regarding the Marine Corps and the Army, it's a vast amount of people that you meet. And so you get to meet people from various backgrounds, various locations, that you otherwise wouldn't come in contact with. And for me, I'm a bit of a humanist. I like to learn about people. And so it really helped me out to really see where people are coming from. And that helps me currently when, I have a client and I'm talking to them, it helps me better relate. So
Okay.
that would be the second one. The third
Wow.
one would, yeah, so the third one would be the organization skills. So I got that when I became an Army officer. When you have to give briefings like the colonel and those type of people, you have to be really organized. You have to have all your ducks in a row, and you
Okay.
have to be prepared for follow-up questions. And so that helps me with my organizational skills, and I'm able to triage different situations, get things that need to get done first and foremost, without losing track of things that I can get done later.
Wow, so there's so many skills that you learn by being in the
Mm-hmm.
military. That is incredible. I've always thought that I wish I would have been in the military, but it was never offered to me when I was growing up. But
Yeah.
it's such an incredible opportunity to learn all the trainings and the structure of being disciplined and focus on everything that you do, because I think they have such a great process of making sure that the person in there is learning and being disciplined too at the same time.
Yeah, and I think one of the hallmarks of the military is it teaches you how to break things down in a way that people can understand in its simplest form. And we have a saying in the military, and we say you have to break it down Barney style, right? And
Okay.
so and so you have to be able to break it down enough that a toddler who's watching Barney can understand what you're saying. And
Okay.
so I've learned to take complex ideas and really put it in a way that everybody can grasp and understand them.
Oh, I love that because I hear people that are just so highly technical and they can really relate to other people because their terminologies are just so advanced for people that are not in that same level. So it's
Mm-hmm.
good. And the fact that you also mentioned that you get to learn people, different, different personalities that you are now applying that when you're dealing with your client, because I think that that's also a very important factor of communication. I have to go back to school for that just to make sure that I understand how to deal with people. And I still am learning up to now. I mean, you're always learning no matter what, right? Because there's
Oh
so
yeah,
many
for
different
sure.
types of people. But it's good that you also was able to acquire that from through your experiences. And so now, I mean, I know now, I understand why you're able to identify those problems and analyze and evaluate because of all those experiences that you've had. Well, I congratulate you for being so good at what you do, and now you're getting into the AI, which I think for me it's a little bit scary. but but you know what? Let's go ahead and I'm thinking, what did we say? Our time. Okay, I think we have time still. Okay, but here's what I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Now getting into the AI, and a lot of people are jumping into it. And to be honest with you, William, I have not gone in there. For some reason, I have this issue about, using the technology for me to share who I am. And I don't know why I'm having that trouble. And maybe
Hmm.
because it's just me or what, but that is kind of where I'm coming from. And I have not gone into Chat GPT. And I'm hearing so many different stories where they said that if you use the Chat GPT for any kind of writing, that the SEO or the internet will figure it out, and they're not gonna, it's not going to help, uh, get your information out there because they're identifying that it is part of the system and it's not really you. So tell me, maybe you can educate me more about it because I am totally lost with this whole AI.
Yeah, and so the first thing I want to say about AI is that people should look at AI as a productivity tool, right? It's more an enhancer, if anything. And so regarding Google that you mentioned, AI generated content that's 100% AI can still rank, but it will have a bit of a hard time only because Google's algorithm is favoring helpful content. So if we take a time machine to go back to the beginnings of SEO, people used the keyword stuff. They would have a lot of keywords everywhere because the algorithms couldn't tell the difference. So now we
Okay.
fast forward to how we are right now. And so what people were doing with AI, they were generating a lot of articles with keywords in there because the algorithms weren't smart enough for that. And so Google actually doesn't say anywhere in their guidelines that they will penalize AI because Google has their own AI as well that they're working on that is out and is getting better. So they're not going to penalize themselves. What individuals need to understand is Google has this algorithm called EAT, EEAT. And the simplest way I can put this algorithm is that it favors helpful content. So if you use the AI to help you create helpful content, and then you still apply SEO to it, you will still rank, right?
Okay.
And so what people were doing in the beginning with ChatGPT coming out, they were literally copy pasting. And so it wasn't sounding human, and they were flooding, the internet with a lot of copy pasted things that weren't very helpful. The readability wasn't very good. The content wasn't really helping anybody answer any questions, which is why Google won. So as long as you're using the AI to create content that is helpful, that answers questions, that still does what a human writer can do, you can still rank. And so often what we do in my business is that I use AI to help me generate blog content, but it's AI that is human centered. So I say it's human centered AI. So you use AI to do 80% of the work, and you come in like the editor and do the other 20%. So it's just more of a tool to help you as a way of relying 100% on the AI.
Okay. Well, that's good to know because I tell you, I mean, again, I think when there's a new technology, people get defensive because it's really first, it's hard to adjust whatever you're doing, right? Changing your
Yeah.
process is already difficult. And then second is you still have to learn the system and adapt to it. So that's another challenge that people have to take. And for me, and I've been doing my business for so many years, and I pretty much have a system that I've nailed, and then now I'm gonna have to change it again and adapt to the new technology. It's always just trying to get yourself to accept all these new changes in life, and that knowing that it's going to improve your business, but at the same time you'll have to stretch yourself to learn it and to adapt to the new changes, right?
Yeah, and I think what people have to understand about the Chat GPT itself, any of those Chat GPT, um, Microsoft has their Bing AI, which is actually on the back end, actually Chat GPT, just
Uh-huh.
so people know that. People don't know that. And then you have Google with their Bard thing. So really with AI, it comes down to the prompt that you write to get it started, right?
Okay.
And so the prompting is probably the more technical part of it. And so how AI works is essentially garbage in, garbage out. So if your prompt is good, it's like having a good foundation, and then you can springboard from that. So
Okay.
if your prompt is not that good, you can still get an output from the AI and it'll still be pretty good, but it just won't be as good as it could be.
Okay. Well, we're going to take another commercial break, William. And everyone, we're learning so much about AI today with William Maitre here at the International Wealth Builders Radio Talk Show. We are all about trying to find ways to build our wealth. And I'm your host today, Marie Antoinette Waite. And don't go away, we will be right back.